One of the joys of my role as a regional minister is to walk with churches that are seeking to do church differently. What's really humbling in my role is often when I turn up to a place, they've already started doing church differently, and they're sharing the stories with me of what God is doing in and through them. In this series, I'm going to be taking you around to some different churches and expressions of church to see how they've thought about doing things differently. Southern Counties is also a large area within our Baptist movement. And so today I'm getting ready to get on a plane and go over to Guernsey, and I'll be able to share with you the stories of how they are doing church differently.
Hi, my name's Christy Salmon and I am the team leader here at Shiloh Community Church in Guernsey. Over the past 4 years here at Shiloh, we've been on a real journey as a church community. We were originally a church that met on a Sunday and did the fairly traditional things that you'd expect from church. But over the past 4 years, we've really become a community outreach church, looking at ways in which we can connect with the community throughout the entire week, not just on a Sunday. So here in Guernsey, we're just a tiny island just off the UK and off France. And Guernsey is a beautiful place to live. It has some amazing coastlines and fantastic scenery. However, it really has some of its own challenges. We have a really active, lively finance industry, which brings great wealth to the island, but it also creates its own challenges for those who are struggling and really in need. The divide on the island can be really great among the people. As a church, it can be a challenge to reach both ends of the community, and the divide can be difficult. But we really believe that our calling and our mission here at Shiloh is to reach those who are struggling the most, who are really finding the challenges of financial difficulty, challenging in their daily lives for individuals and for families. And we believe that's our greatest mission field, to really help the least and the lost. Our mission statement is to love God, to love others, and to serve many. And the serving many, I really believe, is at the heart of the community here. We've tried to really introduce some practical ways that people can come and get support and help as a first base contact before discovering the love of Jesus and exploring faith too. The first thing that we started doing was to look at running a food bank, because we recognised that some of the families we had contact with were in need of food provision. So we started a food bank. That just started with just 1 or 2 families coming to the church for food support. That's now grown to giving out between 40 and 50 parcels a week. We also have a detached team that go and deliver parcels out into the community. From the food bank, we developed a clothing bank too, recognising that families were struggling with the provision, particularly of school uniforms, and at the change of season when people needed coats for children or a different pair of shoes. We really recognised that there was a need for that, so we opened a clothing bank too. Alongside that, we recognised that people just needed somewhere to talk and to have a chat, and were quite lonely and in some really desperate places. So we started a Wednesday community café. And now that's really popular. We see many families and individuals coming in who just want a cup of tea, cup of coffee. It's all free, and they can come and just have a listening ear and share some of their life issues with our volunteers. We recognised that we were seeing many people from the community throughout the week, and yet it was a huge leap for them to come into a church service on a Sunday. So we decided to move our morning service into the evening, so that it gave room to run a Sunday community cafe too. So we now run a Sunday morning community cafe where parents, carers can come along and have a cup of tea, and the children's work, the children's ministry runs alongside that. So the children are learning about Jesus and exploring faith for themselves, while parents and carers can come and just have someone to listen to their needs too. We've found by doing that, the amazing thing has been that we're seeing people now coming into the worship service too on a Sunday, and that the divide isn't so great once they've built relationships with those in our church community. It's been a real journey, and the church community here have been absolutely amazing. I think that for many it's really important to trial something and to show that it works, and then people have faith and confidence to make the change. So by running the Wednesday cafe, community cafe on a Wednesday first, they saw that people were coming in and actually saying that weekends were their lonely times. It was a long weekend, there wasn't much to do. So putting the community cafe on a Sunday morning made sense, because they knew the model, they knew what was happening, and they were happy to move to the evening. I think there's a real sense in the church as well that we really needed to see the younger generation grow, and for our young people and young adults, the evenings worked best for them, and so moving the service to the evening was really important. There's been many challenges along the way. Some are practical challenges, just space, and providing things to help the cafe run have been a real challenge. Some have been real emotional challenges too, where people, the evening service hasn't worked for them. And we've really encouraged people to explore other churches on the island. If it doesn't work for them, there are another 40 churches on the island who are doing maybe what works for them. And actually we just had to stay really true to our calling and say, this is where we believe that God is taking us. And sometimes people left with our blessing, as long as they're staying in faith and growing in faith. But it's been a challenge for many people. We've also had challenges with finances too. I think many of the people we're reaching, we're giving a lot to them rather than receiving any sort of support in, which can also bring its own challenge and difficulty too. So there have been many challenges along the way. I think one of the things that has been the really most difficult for us is meeting the needs of our community. So many people come in with really difficult life situations. They're really struggling, and it can be really hard and really challenging just to listen to the need, and sometimes feel like we haven't got all the answers for people, and that can be really difficult and really emotionally challenging for us too as a team. But we really tried in every way, if we can, to do our best and support where we can, or signpost people to the help that they can get. The rewarding part of this change and reaching the community has been, without doubt, seeing lives transformed by Jesus. It's been an amazing journey. We have seen people who have started off coming to maybe one of our mental health drop-ins, and then they come to the Wednesday cafe. They then become part of our New Beginners Bible study group, and then they've been baptized and are today serving and living their life for Jesus. And that has been the greatest joy, is seeing people find freedom, find life, and find hope beyond the situation that they're in. The advice that I'd give to any church leaders or churches looking to do things differently would be, don't expect things to happen overnight. It takes time. I would say it's taken us these past 4 years to really start seeing some of the fruit of the changes that we've made. It can be a long journey, it can be a slow journey, but don't give up, keep going. I'd also advise that to get to know your local community, because a cafe works here, it might not work in another community. We spent a long time getting to know our neighbours and our local residents, and this is what they really asked for. So get to know your community before starting something different in the church. I think the thing that I've learned most about myself as a leader is that I really enjoy creativity. I really enjoy doing things differently, and it's been a challenge to me to work out ways of bringing that creativity into a Sunday too. So rather than just preaching a sermon, to think about ways, how can I help people who know nothing at all to connect with what I'm speaking about and connect with the gospel. But I'm really enjoying looking at creative ways of bringing that creativity into everything that we do. So the cafe is something that has really evolved on a Sunday morning. It started off by just being a cafe where people could come in and just have a cup of coffee. Now we felt that people were ready for something more. So it has changed so that fortnightly, once a fortnight, we have a short talk that is something that's in the news, a news item that we have a look at and chat about from a faith perspective. And then we, around our cafe tables, have some questions that we look at and chat about together. On the alternative Sunday, we have interviews. So we interview some members of the church community, and people just love those. They love coming in, hearing story of real life things that are going on in people's lives and how they came to discover Jesus for themselves. We were really excited about one lady who has been coming along to our Mind drop-ins, and she has been coming for several years, probably 2-3 years now since it first began. And she started coming along on a Wednesday cafe, and then she came to our Sunday evenings, and now she is totally involved in the church life. She has her children here. She serves behind the cafe, helping people just meet with Jesus in an amazing way. When she arrived, her life was just really spiraling a bit out of control. And she now has a job, she's working, she has much more stability in her life. And in discovering Jesus, she's really been excited about faith. She set up her own little food bank at work where she put some things out for people in need. And she's just inspired to share the love of Jesus with those around her.